Good afternoon. It's drive time. Ha. I beat it to you. Yep. It's drive time with Dave. I'll be your driver. I'm Dave. I am the driver. I'm the chauffeur. Taking you on a ride, a journey through the ups and downs of business and what it's like. Oh, and hopefully I'll save you from making a whole lot of mistakes that I made. That's my only purpose, is sharing. Sharing is caring. I'm a Care Bear. I was just told earlier that I'm a Care Bear, and so here's the story about Dave the Care Bear. Dave, you're such a Care Bear. You just let your employees get away with all kind of stuff. I do, but you're one of my employees. Employee? Well, you had 2 people call in sick, knowing they're not sick, and you didn't do anything about it. Okay, Mr. Employee. Wait. You got my attention. I'm listening. Well, I think you should suspend them. I should suspend them because they called in when they're not sick. Yeah, you should require them to have a doctor's note. Oh, well, how do you know they called in sick? Well, I don't. I assumed. Oh, you assumed. Well, the 2 that were sick, weren't sick. They called in all right. They never said they were sick. They just called in and said, I'm not coming in. Oh, so now what ideas do you have now? Well, okay, well, let me think about it. Okay, well, while you're thinking about it, you want to go ahead and go back to cleaning the bathrooms because you're the janitor. Just kidding. It wasn't. It's stuff like that it may, you're wondering, like, so I've said it before, I say, I listen attentively. You have my attention when you're talking, or if you're chatting, or you're sending me messages or comments. Oh, today, I don't even know. It doesn't even, I have no idea. When we're talking, you have my attention. See, it's right here. You have it. I'm listening. I'm listening to everything. So when one of my employees is like, hey, Dave, what do you think about this? I listen. And then sometimes today happened where he was looking for some answer like, well, I'm not going to say it's okay, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to do anything. But I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because you're trying to figure out if you call in, what's going to happen. That's all it is. They're always fishing for information. See? That's all they're doing. Playing one against another, always. Somebody's always telling on somebody. Something's always, it's a constant. It's a constant. So I was Care Bear Dave today. So after that conversation, I actually go into the controller's office, and she begins asking me, well, what do you want to do about the 2 people that called in that just aren't coming to work? Well, I don't know. I said, I honestly, I don't really care. I don't. It's, what am I supposed to do? I mean, the 2 particular employees, they're hardly ever sick. They never miss any time, and so that's that's the saving grace. What am I supposed to say? I mean, if they were habitual, it was something that was continuously going on, it was a problem, they were always late, something. They're not. So, what kind of a position does that put me in? So the answer was I didn't do anything. But it's not that I never do anything, I just didn't in this particular case. Because one, I I'm just like, whatever. I got bigger fish to fry. There's a big fish out there, and I'm working on him. I'm trying to reel him. I'm like, come here, fish. And then when I got some little minnows over here bothering me, they're nibbling away at me, and I'm like, God, stop, minnows. So I had my daily phone call with the rock star, but I'm not going to put him on and record him like he likes to do to me. Call me up and record me. What a clown. That guy's he should be called Rockstar Clown. That's what I should call him right there. The Rockstar Clown. He's the king of clowns. Calls me up, sets me up. Hey, so I'm just wondering, can you give me an answer without it being a troll answer? Addressing this video that he made. Talking to people about, you know what, wait a minute. Hang on, I gotta do this right. About the difference between saving money and making money. If you're saving money and the money is not working, the money is not earning, the money is lying there dormant. One of the questions that come back, this was the reason for his call to me. Well, how should I answer when somebody says, well, you know, if I've got so much money in savings and it's compounding and it's earning yearly interest, and in 10 years my money's going to double. And that is a fact. In about 10 years, whatever you have in savings today will double. So the whole gist of this video was something about if you start, and I addressed this the other day in one of my videos. I wonder if he made that video because I made that video. I hadn't really thought about that. That's interesting. About saving, you know, you're going to save money, and what portion of the money do you save when you're earning money, and is saving really important? Savings, and this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion, right? My opinion, I don't know what it counts for, but here we go. My opinion is, if I am making money and my money is working for me, wholeheartedly, 100% invested, I believe in myself. Today is Monday, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go sourcing. I'm going to use my $300, my $400, my $500, whatever I've saved out of my paycheck for the entire month. Today's the magic day. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You have no idea what's going to happen. Saving money, it's there and it's working for you, right? So let's say you save your $300 a month, and at the end of the year you've saved $3,600, and that money is drawing conservatively. I'm going to use a much bigger number because I'm not going to sit here and try to drive down the road and calculate 7% compounded, annually over the next 10 years. Can't do it. Somewhere between 7 and 10% compounded annually with additional deposits. So we're going to start today, and we're going to save $300 a month. And I'm just using $300 because it's probably easy enough for somebody to break $300 out of their monthly bills, cut down on this, cut that out, make a little extra money. So you're going to make extra money just to save. So let's just say that's what we're doing. So we're going to do $3,600 a month, and starting in 12 months, let's just say that's the start period, that you're going to draw 10% interest. So that means you're going to draw $360. Then if you're adding your $300 a month, you're going to add another $3,600 on next year, $7,200 plus your $360, plus the $360 for the next year, plus all the additional compounding of the $300 a month, which is like $30 a month, if you're getting 10%. So your $300 yearly that you add is drawing 10%, which is giving you 10% compounded annually or yearly. So in 2 years, you'll have $7,200 plus your first $360 from your first year. So let's just call that $7,560. I don't know. I lost track. So we got $7,560. The next year, you're going to add another $3,600 to it. And then from that next point, 12 months in advance, you've added $3,600 and your 10% is kicked in. So your $7,500 is additionally $750 more dollars. So it's the same as saving $4,200. Let's call it $4,300 for simple math. I can't do the math. I can't do it. So at that point, you've added $4,300. Now you're $7,000. Now $12,000 in 3 years. Seems reasonable. I personally, and again, your money doubles. Or in 10 years. So you can see how quickly. So we're already at 3 years into the way it's compounding and adding, and we're doing 10%. I mean, normally people don't get 10%. You know, 7% if it's a bunch of money, and typically you're going to get 3 to 4% on your money, depending upon shifts in the market and global economies and whoever the president may be and whatever he's doing, he's signing this and that, and then you got people on SNL making fun of everybody, and this doesn't need to be about business. I could tell you, we could talk about a whole lot of stuff, you and I. Yeah, man, deflecting, blah, 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 blah. Everybody comes because they want to know my ideas about business. So, you could make $300 a month, and then you could save $300 a month. If I put $300 to work for me, and I made $300 extra a month on my $300, so, you know, I'd say in 30 days you could compound. Let's say it takes 60 days. You spend $300 a day, and in 60 days you sell your $300 for $600. And every 60 days, your money doubles. Okay, so that means our money's gonna double 6 times. So that means I'm gonna have $1,800. Or you could save $3,600 and add 10% onto it at the end of the year. So if you doubled your money 6 times in a year and you had $1,800 in the same time frame, I can't do the math, so everybody can help me, but if I doubled only $300 and that's all I worked with every 60 days for 3 years, it's pretty close. Right. So if I were making $300 and then saving $300 in a 3-year time frame, I would have $20,000. If I decided to use $600 instead of saving $300, so I can just keep going with this because there's no right answer. It's all up to the individual and what you believe, what will make your dreams come true, what will make your dreams a reality. What are your dreams? What does it look like? What is your dream amount of money? Let's talk about what is the dream amount of money. You want to have $1 million and you're 30 years old? And in 30 years you want to have $1 million. All right, well, so we'd have to start doing the math now. So if we know in 10 years we'll double, so we've got 3 tens. So if we double our money in 10 years, so let's just start with 10,000, so that'd be 20. That won't get us there. Nope. Let's start with $100,000. Now you're talking. So over 30 years, $100,000 doubles to 200. 200 becomes 400. 400 becomes 800 in 30 years. We got very close to our $1 million number, didn't we? So now let's analyze, how do we make to have $100,000 to save it? So let's just say all you want to do is make $100,000 by the end of 2018. Well, here we go. We need to make $10,000 a month, don't we? Now we're right back to that number. I've talked about that number so many times, $120,000 in 1 year. Then you take your $120,000 The reason that I said 100 is because you're going to have to pay taxes on that. And if you make 120,000 in profit, you could probably get pretty close. I'm not going to get into the whole tax thing and trying to figure out all the deductions and all your write-offs and all the expenses and how you're going to expense it out and how you're going to try to keep as much of that as possible. But let's just say you're going to get real close. Then you'll have $100,000. See, that's all. If I had 100 grand right now, well, I can tell you, I'd probably end up spending it because I'd want to make 200 grand, and that's the way I make that 200 grand is because I would spend it. Okay, so in the next year, you have $100,000, and you're very disciplined. See, this is the key. Making it is pretty easy. The discipline to not spend any of it, that's difficult. And you're going to have a little bit of capital get started to go from making 0 to 10,000 to 12,000 to make $120,000 over the year. So you got to have a little investment, which we can break all that down. So we're just going to fast forward up to the important business. How do we have $100,000? Well, first we're going to have a lot of discipline, a lot of willpower. I mean, a lot. By the way, if anybody's interested, my sunglasses, I bought them on Groupon. They were $5. The reason I point that out is, as we're talking about discipline and willpower, that's how it starts. I do not wear hundreds of dollars worth of sunglasses. I'm not sure what relevance that had, but we're talking about willpower. And my willpower to not buy expensive sunglasses is pretty easy because I think buying expensive sunglasses are crazy. It's just crazy. Bing, ding, ding, ding. Just crazy. That's all I can say. It's just crazy. All right, anyway. So, start making your $10,000 a month. And at the end of next year, you have to have the discipline and willpower to keep all that money. And you're going to watch it building up in your bank. And this is where, when we're talking about it, it's not real. And it sounds really, really good. Like, man, that would be awesome. Every month I'd get to watch it go 10 to 20 to 30, and it'd feel great. How do you stop yourself? How do you have the willpower, the discipline, the motivation, the long-term goal, the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15, 20, 25, 30 year plan? You make that 100,000. By the end of next year, you will not be a reseller anymore. You'll be an investor. Yep, you got a new title. Then you're going to have to go out and you're going to find a whole bunch of new videos to watch and shift through all the information that's available in the world of investing. That's a pretty scary thought. But you're going to go and you're going to find an investment firm. You're going to go, here's my 100 grand. And this is what I want to happen. And they'll take your 100 grand. And then your 100 grand's gone. You don't get to touch it or see it no more. You'll get a statement every month that says, here's your 100 grand. And then one month, the president signs some kind of a, and all bloop, everything goes crazy, and you watch your 100 grand go blue down to 50 grand. Well, he ain't gonna sign no bill. And I said, ain't. Ain't a word, it ain't right, and it ain't polite. That's what my grandma said. He ain't gonna sign another bill that's gonna cause your 50 grand to go whoop, go right back up. See, the stock market is a fickle thing. And it is governed by the mob. Not the actual mob, but the mob mentality. It's the collective thinking of all people that are involved. And all it takes is somebody to sign a bill that says, we don't like what North Korea is doing and we're going to do something about it. Your 100 grand goes whoop. Which means your long-term goals go whoop. And you're dying inside. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody I'm against investing because I'm not. But if that's all the money you've gotten, that's all the money you've earned, tell me how you'd feel. Right there below. Just start. How would you feel? How would you feel? You worked hard for a solid year to scrimp and save and work and earn that extra money buying and selling 7 days a week for the next 365 days to have that money, only to have the market shift against you, because there is no other way to get those returns. Now, you could take that $100,000 and purchase a rental property. You're no longer a reseller. Now you're a landlord. You're a real estate investor now. That's a good title. I like that. I'm getting me a badge. Put it right here. It says Dave, real estate investor. Walk around and wear that that badge proudly. I'm so excited because of all the possibilities of buying a $100,000 rental property and renting it out for, let's say, 10%, $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. In 10 years, your money doubles. But what's interesting is your money won't become $800,000 or close to $1 million based on the real estate investing principle, because every 10 years you've doubled your money, but you only double it once. So you make $100,000. Let's say you keep it. So over the next 10 years, you've made $100,000, but you still own your real estate property. So technically, it has doubled, right? So you still got $100,000. You could sell that house, you'd have $200,000. So it did double, right? I'm being super facetious right now. Sorry. I apologize to everybody watching about what I just did. I lost control of myself so in the next 10 years, what happens again? So now you have $200,000 cash and a piece of property worth $100,000. And then the next 10 years, you're in your 30, you have $300,000 in cash and a $100,000 property. You got $400,000. You're halfway there. So, because the current state of real estate, I lost my train of thought. Imagine that. The appreciation on current real estate holdings is somewhere between 2 and 3%. So your $100,000 property might, in 30 years, appreciate by 30%. So you'd have a $130,000 piece of property. Now, if each year you were so disciplined you didn't use that money and you reinvested that vehicle, so the house made you $100,000, you take that money. But here's what's in. I got to back all the way up, because when you invest in real estate, here's what happens. So out of the $1,000 a month you get in rent, your property taxes. So let's say on a $100,000 piece of property, and I've got to guess because I don't know where you're at, you've got a point somewhere between 0.20 and a 0.25 millage rate. The millage rate is how your local, state, county, parish, I love to say that word if you're in Louisiana, calculates your property tax. This is such ridiculous stuff. I'm not sure what any of this has to do with reselling, and I've lost my mind. Here we go. They calculate the millage rate. And so let's say on a $100,000 piece of property, your property taxes are, I don't know, let's just say it's $1,000 a year. We both know that's not accurate, and it'll probably be slightly more, but I'm just going to keep using round numbers because I cannot do math while I'm driving. I can't. Okay. So now $100, $80. I got to make it a round number, so it's 12. To keep this straight in my head, for me to be able to do this, I'm going to have to make the property tax. I'm now increasing the property taxes on your rental property. Right now, here as I'm driving, it's now going to be $1,200. Okay? There. Now, I've said it. All right. So $100 comes out of your rent. Now you're at $900. Then you've got insurance on the house. So what do we think that's going to be? In the state of Florida, that'd probably be about, I'm just going to say, to make this easy math on me, $2,400. It may be less, but because it's an investment property and you don't live there and you got to disclose that, and whether it has a swimming pool and whether your renters have a vicious dog, all these things have to be calculated. So that's another $200 coming out of your $1,000. We've taken $300 out and we've covered insurance and property tax. So now you've got $700. So you're really not making 10%. Traffic's really bad out here right now, and people are staring at me because I'm talking to myself. And that's actually funnier than the fact that I am actually sitting here talking to myself. But I'm actually talking to you guys. And I know later you're going to watch this video and you're going to be like, Dave, what's going on? I'm like, well, the day after the football game, and my employees are just like zombies. They're walking around. I was like, oh, brains. I'm like, the only brains is the brains that you don't have because you should have thought about how you're going to feel after you stayed up half the night and you were drinking all day. Sorry, I talked about that earlier. Won't go back into that again. That topic is in the back seat. Okay. So when we're just talking about the property taxes and insurance coming out. Now, the next part is speculative. I've talked to a few real estate investor friends of mine, and they get really, everybody's got a different, one's way over here, one's way over here. Well, you better save an appropriate amount of money in case your tenants tear something up. What if they don't tear it up? What if the air conditioner just quits working? Right, and you're going to have to pay for it. But let's just say, an air conditioner lasts 5 years, so you buy the house, and maybe they tear it up, maybe they run, they keep it running at like 65 degrees. It's their electric bill. It just happens to be your equipment. So how much of your $700 do you need to set aside for maintenance expense? Well, let's say it's a $100,000 house, so things shouldn't be too expensive. So even if it was another $1,000, $1,200. I get hung up on that $1,000. Clearly, I got $1,000 on my mind. $1,200, another $100. So now your $700 is now actually $600. So then you see in 10 years, you wouldn't quite have $100,000. You would have 70 something thousand. Let's just call it 75. I can't do the math of it. Clearly. Let's just say it's $75,000 after miscellaneous expenses and all these things. Then you would not have enough money to purchase another $100,000 rental property. Because if you did, everybody'd be in real estate investing, and that would be a saturated market. Oh wait, it is. And there's a lot of people that's involved. So when you're a reseller and you start making money, you simply want to have enough discipline to keep yourself under control so your lifestyle does not inflate along with the amount of money that you're making, right? So if it doesn't inflate and you actually get to keep some of that money, then you could either grow your business or you could invest in other investment vehicles, right? Whether it be rental property or additional inventory or infrastructure. So in my business, I'm always like, well, investing in infrastructure is investing in people, investing in new software, and researching, which still costs me money. Marketing, advertising, all these things are an investment into infrastructure. Or I invest in inventory to grow sales, which then forces me to have to. I am not thinking clearly today, guys. I gotta be honest. I'm all over the place. If I invest into my inventory, I better be prepared to invest in my infrastructure, because what's gonna happen is, like I say, you get everything that comes with it. So when you get what you want, you're gonna get everything that comes with it. So I get more inventory, I get more sales. Well, then I'm gonna need more people, more floor space, more problems, more customer service, more of everything. I'm not on point today, clearly. It's probably because of the silly phone call with the rock star. the rock star clown. Casey's a really good friend of mine, and I love him endorsing my channel and helping me bring subscribers on to hear me rant and talk about the most ridiculous things in the whole world. And that I'm very good at. This was Drive Time. I'm Dave. I am the driver. Thanks for watching.